guys, Allison here from Little Pinkies Up, cooking beyond nuggets with your small fry, with a really awesome tip for any of you parents out there that really struggle to get your kids eating veggies, let alone green veggies like these, okay? I know from experience with my own blended family that getting green things in little humans can be very difficult, but with a couple tricks, I think it can happen, and a lot of patience on your part. So let me tell you a little secret that I did with my own small fries when we blended our families together. A lot of what you see on my board here, green beans, asparagus, broccoli, snap peas, edamame, all were very foreign to our families and some of the kids that I've worked with over the years that have an aversion to green foods. And it's not necessarily their fault. So kids' natural response to anything bitter or green is actually ingrained in their DNA for them to not want to eat. It's a survival mechanism. Something that was green or something that was bitter could have been poisonous. So it's not our kids' fault necessarily that at first glance or at first taste, these aren't foods that they enjoy. But I believe with a little bit of persistence on your part as a parent and a lot of kind of creativity and fun around the dinner table, these foods can be a major player in your kids' diet. So one tip that I've always told my students and as well as the kids that I help coach for picky eating is that if your child balks at getting into asparagus or broccoli, take an actual step back with the vegetables and start with something that's really fun and child-centric like edamame. The reason being is that edamame, yes, it's green, but it's not technically a vegetable, and it's a really fun child-centric food item that kids can play with while they're eating. And I'm a firm believer that if kids start interacting with food, whether it's by simply touching and playing with it on their plate, that eventually leads to eyes looking at it, smells, and then eventually tasting it. So these are really fun to just pop out of their shells. Kids love doing that. They like to stack them, make smiley faces with them, create art with these little guys, which are really fun. And once your child starts to begin to accept these, maybe dipped in just a little bit of salt, steamed in the oven, or even with a little bit of soy sauce. Once your child accepts these as something that's on their plate, you can make a baby step towards another green vegetable, like, for instance, sugar snap peas, maybe dipped in just a little bit of salt, steamed in the oven, or even with a little bit of soy sauce. Once your child accepts these as something that's on their plate, you can make a baby step towards another green vegetable, like, for instance, sugar snap peas, which again have the same similar texture to edamame, but we're now actually talking about real vegetables. And I don't care at first glance if your child chooses to only eat the small peas inside the pod, which I've actually been recently talking about these as little baby Yodas, because there's a song out there that most kids that are in the age group that I work with love called Baby Yoda Floating in a Pod, and this is definitely a green-shaped pod with little tiny peas in it. And children actually, you'd be surprised, will take a bite of a pea if they ascribe it to something that they like Baby Yoda. So that's a tip for you. So you can see there's these cute little peas in here. Kids might start to eat these because they are familiar with what has been served with the edamame, but then eventually they're gonna start eating the pod that the beans come in. And then you move on to something like green beans, which still, when you open up a green bean, we're still in vegetables, have these really beautiful little peas in it. And my own daughter actually started out eating green beans by just simply eating the peas on the inside. And then eventually we roasted these in the oven with a little bit of salt and a lot of delicious fat like butter or olive oil. And eventually these became something that we ate on a regular basis. With dipping sauces, you can do dipping sauces. That's always a really good technique for kids when trying something new. So from green beans, then you take something that's similar in shape to a green bean, like an asparagus. But these can be really fun because they have a similar shape as the green beans in the similar family. And then eventually, once they become to accept these also will become something that they are familiar with on their plate because they both have a lovely little top, almost like a little tree. And vegetables might soon be in your child's future. If you stay persistent with it, I promise you, you'll have results. And if you have any questions about some of the ways that I am incorporating new foods, especially green foods, into kids' diets, go to my website, LilPinkiesUp.com. That's LilPinkiesUp.com, and look under the Picky to Persuadable method. And you can also contact me for any picky eating problem solving help that you might need for your family.